because I don't like totally remember how to play. It's all coming back to me right now, but little bug. No, yellow bug. Got him. And there. Said patience was key. I can have patience.
Caution. Fluctuating pressure detected in air exchange regulator valves. Stand clear of all intake vents during adjustments.
So I'm gonna have to do like schoolwork on the side, but you know what? Here, hold on a minute. I'm just gonna turn on the audio so I know when it
even begin
stops.
to fathom.
So if you hear this, sorry.
This was
but
a time where they didn't have big
I'm
forklifts.
nearly
They
done
didn't
with all
have
this stuff. I just
cranes.
gotta get it.
They had to just rely on what their abilities. Now, the cut stone blocks weighed 2.5 tons. And if you know what a ton weighs, a ton is 2,000 pounds. 2.5 tons would have been the equivalent of 5,000 pounds. And 5,000 pounds was just one cut stone. So, how did these people do it? How did they move those stones?
Let's test this.
Excuse me. Well, one school of thought was that they just used muscle power. They just kind of moved it there. Well, yet another scholar says, well, perhaps they used logs to kind of put the rocks on top of the logs, and as they roll the logs, they would bring one from the back, put it in the front, roll it some more, bring another from the back, put it in the front, roll it some more. So perhaps that's how they moved the stones. But yet another thought, perhaps they laid down a bed of sand, and it just created a place where they could kind of just shove the rock along on a slippery surface per se. All right, how did they stack the stones? Once they got them to the place they needed to be, how did they stack them? Well, still another school of thought says maybe they built a whole ramp of sand, and they would put those rocks up the sand. Here, imagine these are just 5,000 pounds of rock going up there. They would put it where they needed it, and then they would make another ramp higher and just push those rocks up until they had the pyramid complete. We really don't know, but it was surely an amazing feat and an amazing accomplishment. All right, excuse me. On to Egyptian sculpture. These two sculptures are known as the Narmer palette, and a palette usually, not these two, but a palette usually was used to crush black ink and make it to where they could use the black ink for their eyeliner. Both men and women wore it at that time. So that's what palettes typically were used for. These two palettes, though, they're quite large. They're bigger than those regular palettes, and they're very, very significant. They actually announced the unification of Egypt. If you look, I don't know if you can see on your screen, but if you look, you can see here the white crown that signifies one side of Egypt. And if you look here, you see the other crown that signifies the other side of Egypt. Now, Upper and Lower Egypt, they were two entities, but here, with these two palettes, the Narmer palette, and Narmer was the ruler of that time, it shows that Narmer is wearing the white crown
Warning.
and the red crown.
Atmospheric containment breach in Sector 12.
Upper
Hazardous
and Lower
conditions
Egypt at
present.
that time. And it announced the unification of Egypt unified. Also exhibits the visual conventions of the time. Visual conventions, what still impresses me as I was talking about the symbols is that they were very consistent in how they drew things. And a white mask, a white crown, well, to be drawn like that, and it was always to be drawn like that. The red crown was always to be drawn like that as well. And they were consistent over and over and over. One thing that with the visual conventions of the time was they said, if you're going to draw something, whoever's the most important person in that picture is going to be the tallest. And so that was one convention that they held. Also, mathematical formulas defined proportions. So they said, you know what, a regular person should be this tall, a regular person should be this tall, and a child should be this tall. So let's just say that's just the way it is. Whether they're really that tall or not, that's the proportion we want it to be, and that's the way we're going. So they had some artistic standards, visual conventions of the time that they did follow. Very impressive. On to the more Egyptian sculpture. This is just kind of fun because here we see a sculpture of Khafre, and he on the back. This is the same sculpture, it's just the back view, the side view. Horus himself is actually holding up Khafre's head, holding him up and protecting him and just staying there with him, which is pretty cool. Now, some other things I want you to note is that right here are lions, on the king's throne. Now, lions always symbolize strength and power, so he's sitting on a very powerful throne. Below, it's a little hard to make out, but this right here, they're just kind of intertwined together, and they symbolize the rule of both Upper and Lower Egypt. Very, very cool. That something that's just so symbolic could tell us so much. Okay, the next sculpture, it's a little bit different, isn't it? It's more smooth, more peaceful looking. Actually, this is a picture of the heir to Khafre's throne, right here. And the sculpture was much less regal. It was just really smooth. They both look very, very young. And they do look happy, just peaceful. One thing we know about this sculpture is that it was never completed because it was never completely shined. This type of sculpture could be just rubbed and rubbed and rubbed and rubbed until it was a high polished shine. And it was never finished. So the scholars think that perhaps he died before it could be finished, and that's why, because they did place the sculpture in the tomb. All right, on to Pepi II and his mother. This one's kind of fun to look at because Pepi was only 6 years old when he inherited the throne, and it's kind of cute to see this little king sitting on the mom's lap. We know that that's a tiny, tiny person compared to the woman. And as you recall earlier when I said Egyptian conventions say
Notice,
that the person who
training chamber 22 climbing apparatus has been decommissioned.
So
Use of equipment is
one thing
strictly
the guards
prohibited.
does do is they give Pepi honor by putting him as the king, but also they show that the mother probably acted as a regent until Pepi was old enough to rule. So I just kind of like that one. Now to the right, we see a seated scribe. This is significant because the Old Kingdom sculptors produced figures of less prominent people, such as the scribe we see here. One thing I read about this scribe is that, you notice that he does have a little bit of a role there, and they said that perhaps that was because of his sedentary lifestyle. A scribe was just writing things down. He just sat there and he didn't get a lot of exercise, so that was one thing that I found was kind of interesting about the seated scribe. All right, on to Egyptian tomb decorations. The item to the left is known as a pectoral. They were chest ornaments, and it's pretty interesting because your
like I have to
pectoral
listen to this, by the
muscles.
way.
That's what
It's
they're
just I
called.
have to-
And this is a chest ornament. It's very beautiful. It was made of gold and semi-precious stones. This particular pectoral was found in the tomb of the king's daughter. It was one thing I want you to notice too is that it's decorated with the symbols, Egyptian symbols. We see the crown. We see the scarab. I haven't talked about the scarab, but the scarab was a type of beetle, and it was a very prominent symbol in Egyptian times. Over here we have the
Filtration maintenance is now
over here as
overdue
well.
by
So they employed those symbols and they used
reduced
them in all the artwork.
efficiency expected.
Let's look at the hippo. Why a hippo? Why would a hippo decorate a tomb?
It's dying.
Well, one thing we do know about modern hippos is that they are very, very dangerous. If you ever encounter a hippo in the wild, get away from it because they can do some damage. So, what this hippo did, it was found in the tomb of the governor Sendi, and it actually symbolized evil. And it was often put into the tombs to ward off evil. So this hippo actually, if you look at it, it's blue. Possibly it's in the water. There are plants drawn on his side. Possibly he was hiding in the water and ready to just lurch and bite into anything that was evil that was trying to get into the tomb. So it's just kind of fun that they had hippos to decorate their tombs and ward off evil. Okay, one last tomb decoration I do want to look at is this stele of Amenhotep. It represents daily life. If you look at it, they're not doing anything special. And the stele of Amenhotep, it's just a relief sculpture that was found on the stele, the funeral stele of Amenhotep. So it's just a piece of work inside of the tomb, and it shows just ordinary life happening. We do see some food here. We see they're just sitting, possibly talking, enjoying each other's company. The reason for this painting, this sculpture, this relief sculpture, to be inside the tomb was just for the dead to enjoy looking at this picture for eternity. What's really important to understand about these beautiful pieces of artwork, the reason they survived is because, tomb robbers would actually go in and they would loot everything. Anything that was of value, they would take. And these items actually, they were just engraved on limestone. They weren't really something valuable. There was no gold or inlaid precious stones. So the tomb robbers per se, they didn't take them. So, and I'm glad they didn't, because we can see how thoughtful they were of the people who died, and they would engrave their tombs with these items. All right, enough of that for today. Hopefully by now you can analyze the use of Egyptian symbols, recognize and evaluate the construction of the methods of the Pyramid of Giza, analyze Egyptian sculpture and decorative elements in Egyptian tombs. So, surely the excitement of that day in 1923 still carries on today as we look at the artwork that was uncovered. And even as you look at this mask and you see these big eyes of Tutankhamun, you have to wonder, he would be pretty excited if he could see the stuff from our day too.
I might want. So I take it from getting that, I'm just generally.
Announcement. Air exchange scrubbers are currently cycling. Expect brief reductions in op.
So the reason why I have to like go on and off with this, like I'm gonna record while also doing schoolwork because I'm like very close to being done with it.
Egyptian symbols. Pictures that
probably gonna hear
represent a
this.
word, idea, or sound.
Y'all are probably gonna hear this. You won't have to
Horus,
listen to it if you don't want
the
to.
god of ancient Egyptian religion. Scepter. A symbol of authority. Ankh. The key of eternal life.
I thought it was Ankh.
Pyramids of Giza. The Pyramids of Giza stand in the necropolis and are located on the outskirts of Cairo, Egypt. Menkaure. The smallest of the three pyramids that was built to serve as the tomb of the 4th dynasty Egyptian pharaoh Menkaure. Kafir. The Kafir is made of limestone and rises to a height of 143.5 meters. Khufu. Khufu is a true pyramid with a square base and 4 triangular sloping sides.
The Narmer Palette.
The Narmer Palette. It is believed that the Narmer Palette depicts the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt.
That's cool, I guess.
Relief sculpture.
Oh, I'm done. Never mind. So for the rest of this, I just have to, like, kind of go through everything. This shouldn't take too much longer. And then I got a test to do. Actually, before I continue, hold on. I've got 8 tests to do, and I have to get them all done today, but that's alright. Then I'm back at the practice. After that, I've got another test, and then, once I'm done with the test, I can move on.
Oxygen flow.
I wasn't aware of that. That snuck up on me. Well, might as well wait a minute now. Whatever. It's not a big deal, it's just I was busy and I wasn't paying attention. I don't need reason. Money bug.
Alert. Containment breach in Bio-Research Lab 5. Do not approach the lab without proper clearance.
Who said I needed clearance? Alright, I'm gonna do a little more work here, because this answer is waiting for me. And then just like that, I'm done with whatever this is. I just gotta put the answer in. Where do I go from here? Do I go this way? Oh no, I go up. And then I'm done. Okay. So after this pre-test, I'll pretty much be, well, not pre-test, this test, I'll be done. This won't take long though, don't worry. So this would be test number 2, or test number 1 I've done today. And then just like that, I'm done. So we can submit this. Back to Art of Ancient Egypt. submit. We got 50% on that one.
Hi, and welcome to Art of Ancient Egypt number 2. Now, earlier lecture, Art of Egypt number 1, we noticed this fellow. His mask was found and created just an exorbitant amount of excitement upon the discovery. And in this lesson, we'll actually learn a little bit more about him, Mr. Tutankhamun, and understand, well, what's all the fuss about? Why the excitement other than just this beautiful thing? So let's begin. Our objectives for today. Hopefully by the end you'll be able to recognize the reigns of Tutankhamun and Ramses II, recall the writing styles and contents of the Rosetta Stone,
Notice.
and last you'll be able to describe the general contents
Sealed
of
crates
the book
in
of
long-term
Let's
storage
begin.
with care.
Key terms for
Contents
today:
may be fragile
Tutankhamun,
or pressurized.
Ramses II, hieroglyphics, Demotic, Anubis, Ammit, Osiris, papyrus scrolls, and the Book of the Dead. First, let's look at Tutankhamun. All right, this fellow who caused all the excitement, his tomb was found in the Valley of the Kings. And right here is a picture, Valley of the Kings. The most amazing thing about this and why all the excitement was because his tomb was never plundered. The way he was buried with the incredible riches of the time was the way they found it. It was untouched by any other human person. So because of that, it allowed us to understand so much more about him and just see the incredible wealth because no plunderers looted the place. So it was just all there. Now, Tutankhamun, he wasn't a major king. He didn't do any huge, amazing things. But he was a king nonetheless. But also, the one thing I want to point out about Tutankhamun and Ramesses II that we'll look at in just a moment is that they did bring Egypt back to the more traditional side of the religious beliefs of the time, and they brought it back to more traditional Egypt as the Egyptians knew it. So that was important, but when you do compare Tutankhamun to Ramesses II, if you look in the books and read all about them, you will notice that, Tutankhamun's important, but Ramesses did do more things. Now, let's talk about what they found in this amazing tomb. One thing that's really kind of cool, his body lay nestled inside of 3 different coffins. So there was a smaller coffin, and then a bigger coffin, and then another one. And so that was just kind of cool. If you've ever seen those little dolls that one little tiny one fits into another one, that's kind of the
Possible
concept
structural
there.
weakening
His
detected in
innermost
training
coffin is made
chamber
of
66 support beams.
240 pounds
Refrain from heavy
of gold.
equipment use.
So Tutankhamun, he did know how to go out in style. So let's look at Ramesses II. He came after Tutankhamun, and he was a strong
So now I don't have
man,
a problem
and
with
he wanted
stamina for
everyone
a little
else
while.
to know
Might
it.
as well take advantage of it.
If you look at the picture to the left, this is actually the entrance of Ramesses II's temple of Abu Simbel. And notice these figures. There are 4. They're 65 feet tall, which is amazing. As tall as some very tall buildings. Ramesses, if you were to look at this awe-inspiring carving inside of the hill there, if you were to look at this, would you think he would make 4 people of himself? Well, no. If you said no, well, he did. He made 4. There are 4 carvings of the same person, and so that was just a message that he sent out to people. I'm powerful and strong. And in fact, if you were standing there looking up at these figures, I think it would be very, very impressive. One thing about the figures I do want to point out is that if you look at this picture right here, you will notice this is actually Ramesses II sitting down. It's the actual image from over here. And this right here, this young lady, is Nefertari. It's his principal wife. Kings of that time did have more than one wife. And she's standing beside his leg. She was honored as well. She was a part of his wife. If you look down on all of these statues, there are people there as well. So very interesting and intriguing. Ramesses is a very important man. One thing right here, the entryway, there are certain times of the year that when the sun does go down,
What?
the sun ray will actually go straight through to the other side. It's supposed to be an amazing sight. So
It
they
took-
took that into consideration
Did I
as
eat
well.
something that
On
destroyed
to
my
Rosetta
HP?
Stone. Very important piece of history
Dog.
here.
Okay, how do
This little
I'm about ready
stone
to turn off the Steam
made
overlay, dude.
it
My God.
made the
Explain
Egyptian language
yourself.
available. In other words, before the Rosetta Stone was found,
If you, like,
hieroglyphics,
stand
the English
somewhere special, you
language,
can, like,
all of this
grab onto the
written
light.
text that we had seen,
My
they
God.
couldn't decipher it. They didn't know what it
Don't
meant.
do this.
But
no, please.
once the Rosetta Stone was found, they
Dude.
were able to do that.
You know what?
And why
Oh,
there was a
let's
process here. If you
Pick this
notice,
up.
the Rosetta Stone has 3 different sections. The bottom being Greek, and scholars did know how to read Greek. But it didn't help them because they didn't know if this was the same text, if it was something different, and because they didn't know the language, it just didn't help that they knew the Greek. The second layer here is the Demotic. The third layer is ancient Egyptian, and we also know the ancient Egyptian writing as hieroglyphics. So those two right there, they had no idea what this Rosetta Stone meant. But thankfully, what happened was there was a scholar noticed that the Greek, the bottom part of the Rosetta Stone, contained a decree honoring Ptolemy V. So that honored Ptolemy V, and he did find in the Demotic that, oh, you know what? There's a P. Oh my goodness, I can see that where the word Ptolemy is, he found the word Ptolemy and Cleopatra. Cleopatra. Okay, so once he found those two words in the Demotic, then he could go up here and say, oh my goodness, I can see this here and this here. And it took about 3 years, but then he deciphered it. And then they were allowed to decipher the Egyptian language. And so that's why we can read it today. Very important thing. I don't know if you've ever heard, this weekend, I was in the mall. And
Elevated
as
particulate
you walk
matter
around,
detected
when you're
in
teaching
lower
these
air
things,
exchange ducts.
certain things pop out. And I saw
Respiratory
a
protection
software
advised.
box that said Rosetta. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to go look at that. I'm teaching that. And it's actually a software that teaches students how to speak different languages. And I just thought that was really kind of cool because it comes directly from the Rosetta Stone, in which we learned how to decipher hieroglyphics. All right, on to the Book of the
Really?
Dead. Now, the Book of the Dead wasn't just one book that held all these secret messages, as we've seen on popular shows. The Book of the Dead was actually a book that was given to the dead person for their afterlife, and it would be different for different people. Now, this one is the Book of the Dead from Hunefer, from his tomb. Now, what we see, well, let me back up a little bit. This particular piece of this Book of the Dead is made on a papyrus scroll. That's the kind of paper that's very fibery, very thick. It contained magical texts like, this is what's going to happen in the afterlife, and it was considered magical. And it was actually something that the person who had passed on to the afterlife was supposed to enjoy, kind of like a photo album of things that you accomplished, or just family members. Oftentimes there'll be some pictures in there.
Spider in my room.
But this particular page of the Book of the Dead from
Nothing
Hunefer
too crazy. It's just
has 3 stages. And I'll
he's
just break
quick.
it down right here.
Andy jumps. Ooh.
1,
Hey, bud.
2, and
You'll be swinging
Say
a lot of
2.
webs here for a minute.
then 3.
Can you hang in
And
there?
let's look at how
Yeah, just
they
hang in there.
are described.
Don't do nothing.
All right, the Judgment of Hunefer before Osiris here. First of all, this is Anubis right here. Mr. Anubis is going to take Hunefer through his series of judgments into his afterlife. And this young fellow right here, I don't know if he's a fellow or not, but if you look at him closely, you'll notice he has an alligator head, a lion's mane, and a lion's body there, and then this bottom part, if you look closely, you'll notice that's a hippo. So Amit, this is Amit, and let's write in Anubis.
The spider has been detained.
Okay, they're just going to take
Outside.
Hunifer on in to the afterlife here. And what happens is he's taking him over here. This is like a weight. This is a balanced scale. Okay, you know what? If you've done well and you can pass this stage, then Mr. Amit can't eat you. He's just waiting there for Hunifer not to pass the test, and he gets to eat him, and he doesn't go to his afterlife. But from the looks of this, looks like he passed. So Hunifer's over here into this next stage. This is actually Horus.
Run.
And Horus is now presenting Hunifer to Osiris. Alright, so he's going to present him to Osiris. He gets to go on and he gets to enjoy his afterlife. So, kind of interesting about the Book of the Dead. And Hunifer, good for him, he got to go. Which brings us to our objectives. We're going to go in just a moment. Hopefully today you can say that you recognize the reigns of Tutankhamun and Ramesses II, who brought Egypt back to their traditional ways. Also, if you can recall the writing styles and contents of the Rosetta Stone that allowed us to decipher hieroglyphics for the first time. And describe the content of the Book of the Dead as you did with Hunifer, who was back to go on.
Additional containers must be rerouted.
And now, on to Tutankhamun, Mr. Excitement himself.
Okay.
Well, when he was buried that day, or even when he was preparing his tomb before he passed on, could he have ever imagined that we'd be talking about him centuries afterwards? I don't know. But he certainly has intrigued our curiosity and piqued our interest, and thank you, Mr. Tutankhamun.
Oh, she's done talking. Okay. I gotta do a little more. Tutankhamun. I don't know who that is.
Tutankhamun, young pharaoh of Egypt ruling from 1334 to 1325 BC. Ramses II, the third Egyptian pharaoh of the 19th dynasty, often regarded as the greatest and most powerful pharaoh. Hieroglyphics. Writing system of ancient Egypt using both logographic and alphabetic elements. Demotic. The ancient Egyptian script derived from the northern forms of hieratic, or cursive writing, and Egyptian language.
Oh, they actually talk about Anubis in here.
Anubis. A jackal-headed god associated with mummification and the afterlife in Egyptian mythology.
Nice, nice.
Ammit. In Egyptian mythology, a hybrid of three Nile creatures including the crocodile, lion, and hippo.
Possible structural weakening detected in training chamber 66 support beams. Refrain from heavy equipment use.
Osiris,
Osiris.
the Egyptian god of life, death, and fertility.
Papyrus scrolls. You mean
Papyrus
Undertale
scrolls.
Papyrus literally was
A thick paper-like material produced from the pith of the papyrus plant which grew in abundance in the Nile Delta of Egypt.
Oh no, it was a plan. Book of the Dead.
Book of the Dead. The ancient Egyptian funerary text describing the conception of the afterlife and includes a collection of
It cut itself off. Oh, I haven't seen this level yet, actually. Whoa. Like, not in general.
Alert. Elevated humidity levels.
I don't know who Ra is, but we're about to find out.
Detected in Silo 92. Dry goods containment integrity may be compromised.
Alright, I'm back at the practice. Whoa. Huh? Back up here. Can I enter? Nope. And I can't skip any of them. Oh, I can. Shiny bug. Like Maui from Moana. Bot snack! Something like that. Oh. I just Ow! Well then, I hate that room officially. Okay, this is gonna suck because I got off last night. Oh, wow, wow, wow.
sensors indicate water seepage in Silo 7. Moisture levels may compromise stored materials.
It would be cool if I had like my own working AI voice in a Roblox game. Because I'm just saying, that's not impossible to do. You just get like a bunch of like sound files of like something that you want. Like maybe a dictionary that it'll have, and then you kind of just like, you know, anytime something happens, the voice will respond to that event, you know? The game won't be aware of what it's saying, but copy, paste. What's this? Oh, I accidentally opened that. Too.
Notice: all personnel entering long-term storage Silo 3 must log container inventory to maintain accurate records.
Okay, it doesn't look like there's bulldogs here. Almost done with the practice, then there's the test, and then that will be it. I got this, guys, believe in me. Fuck we do. Out of curiosity, what do the drinks do? Oh, it's pills. Oh, it's those pills. They give you infinite
Notice:
for a little while.
air quality in deep substructure within acceptable limits. Ventilation maintenance schedule to be announced.
I hated that, dude. Don't make me go through it again. Thank you. Inspection record. Robert Brown. Training chamber. Hazardous. I've never even seen this chamber. It's in pretty good condition despite the damage from the event. There's some safety concerns I have, but the walls are intact and the lights are on, which is all I can ask for at this point. I don't think this is even on the authority maps, but there's no way exploratory crews will have this done. Sounds interesting. Oh. Oh. there's a little way I can go here. Snack for the road.
Notice. Please handle all sealed crates in long-term storage with care. Contents may be fragile or pressurized.
Sorry if I'm pausing a lot. It's just the work, you know. I've got 43 files. That's not tests. That's just like assignments to do. And until these are done, then, well, at least this class is done, then I can't stop pausing. I'm probably gonna be playing this all day today though, until my friend gets on. And then we'll have a little bit fun on Java Edition Minecraft, huh? So we've got the test, and then after that we got the pre-test for the next assignment, and then we'll be chilling. B. This is so like screwy, I'm like lost already.
Hey, it's the bigger guy!
Isn't he cute though? Like, bro, who doesn't like that thing? I already know they're gonna make R34 as a one variant of that. Do you think there's gonna be a mod for that? I'm just saying, it's Steam. It wouldn't surprise me if people do a lot of fun things on Steam. It's certainly different. Are you gonna take the cash across that? Woo! Thank you. I'm not seeing any of those like room things. I can't go any higher. This. I got a syringe, like, bruh. I'm gonna jam myself with that. Ah, I hated this. At least I have. Oh, it was.
Update. Log.
Okay, let me. Since we're at a good spot to stop, let's try to finish this. You know what, I can just edit the video. But, yeah. I didn't want to have to make any edits, you know? I was gonna make this like a straight video. But this has to get done too, so. Don't want to get held back again or, you know, anything like that. I was only held back once, mostly because of the fact, I was little and I had behavioral issues. I wasn't like, I just got tired of doing school. It's primarily because they kept on giving me the same stuff over and over again. My mom would say, no, it was behavioral issues. Yes, it was, but it was because I kept on getting the same thing over and over again, and I got tired of it. So I started sleeping in class, and when they wouldn't let me do that, I literally ran out of class, went somewhere else, literally probably cried and then slept in a different area until they had to move me. I don't freaking know. Alright, we're on the
Storage silo 3
Welcome to the Art
is at
of Ancient
maximum
Greece.
capacity.
Today, I want you to look at the image, the sculpture in front of you, and ask yourself this question. We're going to play a little Jeopardy for a minute. What does this ancient Greek sculpture and the popular brand of tennis shoes have in common? I'll repeat the question, because we're playing Jeopardy here. What does this ancient Greek sculpture and a popular brand of tennis shoes have in common? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Does the word Nike ring a bell? Yes, Nike. You heard right. This
Like,
is actually
bruh,
a sculpture known
this is
as the
gonna
Nike of
suck.
Victory, which is the goddess of victory. So, pretty cool knowing that Nike, actually the brand Nike, was named after an ancient Greek sculpture. All right, for today, we're going to talk about and recognize the artwork of the geometric period,
Oh, but
discuss the
can I just
characteristics
stand on
and
these?
divisions of the classical period, discuss the painting of vases
Yeah,
and
but I
murals
don't
during the high classical period, and last, recognize the trends and characteristics in Hellenistic sculpture and art. Key terms for today. I know there's a lot, but they're really interesting. Geometric period,
That
linear
clearly
motifs, funerary vase, classical period, early classical, high classical period, Pericles, Priam painter, Achilles painter, Alexander the Great, and
Bruh!
last, the Hellenistic period.
I hate
Okay,
that
first we're going to talk about
chamber.
the
I hate
geometric
it.
period. Now, if you have geometry, if you've ever had geometry, you know that
I haven't
geometric
even gotten to the
represents
one spot in a
shapes,
while.
Okay? So
Where you
represents
can
shapes.
lock
Just-
out the
it was during
liquid,
900
get
to
the
700
upgrades, and then I
BCE.
lost all my
And
stuff again,
as
so I
your
feel
notes
awesome.
say here, it's characterized by linear motifs. What is linear
Why
motifs?
is that so
Linear
hard? I
motifs
mean, I got
are just
halfway
characterized
through it,
by
but
lines. The
dude,
motifs were laid
that is
down
so hard.
very linearly. And
I gotta watch Markiplier
within
play
that,
this
the
again
linear motifs
and see how he
had
did it.
triangle,
I understand patience is key, but
cross-hatching.
damn!
Here we see on the
just
front
rough.
of the centaur, we see cross-hatching. We see spirals. We see, again, some more triangle shapes. And this actually was the first specifically Greek style of vase painting or painting on different shapes. So pretty interesting and really quite fun to look at.
Already traveled.
Let's look at another
100
example.
meters.
This is a funerary vase. And what's really cool about the funerary vase is, well, number one, it kind of tells a story, and you kind of want to look at it kind of like an I Spy book. You're looking at it, and you find one thing one time and another thing another time. It's this geometric period actually used abstract forms to represent human figures. And this right here, it's so cool. This is actually representing a human figure. And if you look closely, you can kind of imagine, okay, oh, is that the arms? Or is this the head? Or are these the eyes right here? We can definitely recognize the legs, but it's an abstract form. So those were used to represent human figures, and we can see that there's an animal right here, some kind of animal going on. And the funerary art reflected the belief that the dead could continue to enjoy the activities that they like to do during their lifetime on into death. And so if you were looking at this vase, it would kind of tell the story of the person, the person's life, what they liked, what they didn't. Well, probably not what they didn't, but it's their interests in different things like that. So it tells a story. So that's the funerary vase and the geometric style. Now we're going to look at the different periods. Okay, the classical period was divided into 3 phases based on the quality of the art. Okay, first we see from 480 to 450 BCE, that's early classical, and that was marked by the defeat of the Persians in 482. And we'll talk about how, you know what, they were very confident during this time. We defeated the Persians. We are it. We are a happening people. So they felt very confident during this time. You see that in the artwork representation. Okay, from 450 to 400 BCE is known as the High Classical period.
He fucking explodes!
400 to 323 BCE, and that's called the Late Classical period, and that's marked by the death of Alexander the Great. And when he died, the strong ruler of the time, it did affect their artwork. So first we're going to talk about early
I
classical.
love this game.
And
The
this is
crazy
actually
stuff about
a
it makes
sculpture
it
taken
fun, but dumb.
from the Temple of Zeus. And it was a part of the architecture, and it's known as Apollo with battling lapiths and centaurs. Okay, let me just kind of show you here. This is actually Apollo, and these are the lapiths and centaurs. They're battling, they're fighting with each other. They're kind of at conflict with each other. And he's standing there right in the middle. This is just kind of an enlarged Apollo here. He's just standing there. If you look at his face, he's kind of calm with his head off to the side, you know, kind of cool and collected. And it's really interesting because what the purpose of the Temple of Zeus was to demonstrate the power of the gods, the Greek gods, Zeus,
temple.
Apollo, and Athena.
Like from,
And
if you've ever seen
the
the
power,
Disney
not
movie
necessarily
Hercules.
power by force, power meaning we're strong and we're confident and we can do this. So Apollo here, he represents reason over passion. So here we see all these battling things here, and he's got his arms stretched out, very calm look on his face, saying, "Calm, we'll be okay, everything's good." So I just thought that was interesting because he could have, being the god of the time, been very angry, but no, he represented reason over passion. And these actually, many examples, this was decorated with imported marble, these pieces, that's why we still can see them today, is because it's made with marble, and it was imported.
My climbing speed
Let's
is
go
so
on and
fast!
Look at the High Classical period.
I could
Now,
throw
in the
myself!
High Classical period, Hercules dominated Athenian politics. And
That is
yes,
so
always,
good.
as
Oh,
seen
look.
in early art, the leaders of the time influenced
Oh
the
my
artwork of the
goodness.
time. And this is just
So
a
if I grab
bust
something, I gotta be
sculpture
hanging on
of
for dear
Hercules.
life.
And he led Athens to a period of great wealth known as the Golden Age. You know, they defeated Persia.
There we go.
And then here's Heracles. He's the ruler coming on in. And you know what? We're increasing wealth. It's the Golden Age.
Hi.
He used Athenian wealth for the adornment of the city. So
I can
since
kill
they
this
were a
thing.
wealthy nation, well, and they had a lot of money, let's decorate the city. Let's show everybody else who we are. And he encouraged artists to promote a public image of peace, prosperity, and power. And we see that everywhere in Greek architecture. One piece of architecture we're going to talk about from the High Classical period is the portrait of the maidens from the Erechtheion. Now, this portrait of maidens, it could have just been a column holding up the torch. Okay, it could have just been a column. But remember, Pericles was saying, you know what, we're going to use our wealth, and we're going to have a beautiful city. We're going to look like we are it. So actually, the artists created these beautiful sculptures of the maidens, and notice they're standing there very strong, very peaceful, with one knee kind of bent. You can see that in their dresses here, their togas. And their hair is done. And actually, one thing that's pretty interesting about these maidens is that this area right here on the back, where the hair comes down, that's not just so that they can have long hair, it's actually to add strength, because the neck is the skinniest area, the thinnest area on this column, and to fortify that, to make it stronger, they put a long piece of hair, kind of a braid, to kind of fortify, to make that strong so it could still hold up the building. So that's evidence of Pericles saying, let's make our city beautiful. Okay? Another piece of artwork from the High Classical period. This is the Priam painter. They gave insight into Greek city life. And if you look at this pot, which is so beautiful with its contrasting orange and black, we see that there's women at the fountain house, and they're actually getting water from the fountains, very decorative fountains. The water's coming out. They're holding them. They're taking the water on. And that just shows that fountains were a public amenity, that you know, not everybody had running water like that. And not only did they have running water, but it was just a beautiful place to go. And there were nearly 60 vases attributed to the Priam painter. And really, truly, it is beautiful. And the oranges and the blacks, we do see some geometric designs as well. Very beautiful.
Oh, what's
Some
this?
geometric down here.
We finally made it.
That's orange and black. Going on to another style of the High Classical period, it's the Achilles painter. Now that was characterized by outlined or drawn imagery. It's the image of the person that's just kind of outlined here. There's not such contrast available. It's just outlined. The color of the base itself kind of comes through. The outline gives the structure, and you see that the skin is represented by the color of the base. Characterized by outline or drawn
Pressure
imagery.
seal
It has a
engaged.
full range of colors.
Door latches
It's not just
open.
black or white.
Wings
We
detected.
do have some browns. We do have some reds, and really, when this was first painted, you can probably see more colors that show up. But for us, it's kind of faded a little bit. They actually used tempera, a water-based paint made with glue or egg whites.
Increased
And
time loss from
modern day
items.
tempera, it's a water-based paint that's very
Reduces grip loss
sticky,
from most
and
hazards.
it's really amazing to me that
would be
it did stand the test of time. It did stay, and you can still see it because it is a water-based paint.
My hand.
So they did use tempera, and again, I want to point out that you do
Thank
see some
you.
geometric patterns here. So they incorporated, the Achilles painter incorporated that as well. So it's just kind of different there. Okay, the Hellenistic period. All right, Alexander the Great died unexpectedly in 323 BCE, and this is actually a sculpture of Alexander the Great. It's a sculpture that shows the Hellenistic period. You know, up until this time, Greek sculpture was very idealistic, showing the human body as very strong,
Awesome.
very athletic, very proud. And the Hellenistic period actually shows a
So
more
I have
realistic
longer
picture
grip.
of people. If you look at this image right here, you know, this person just looks kind of, I don't know, even sad. You don't see the eyes, the
That hangs just.
expression on this person isn't necessarily happy, isn't necessarily trying to show strength here.
Well, I mean, I guess I could
But,
do
and we
that.
see the hair, the way the hair is too. That's another thing that we start to see happening in this time. And we'll talk a little bit more about Hellenistic period in the Nike of Samothrace, okay? The sculptures were enormous during this time. They were huge. They weren't meant to represent people. They were meant to represent this god figure, this tall, enormous height.
Oh yeah, see.
Many were
Here's
thought to have
something.
commemorated important. Many thought this Nike of
Blood
Samothrace,
in darkness,
and then
there
others
is
of its
flame,
kind
stay.
were to commemorate important naval victories or different victories of the time. So
So
we do
there's
see
nothing here, is that
the
it?
folds
It's just,
in the drapery. It almost looks like you could touch it and it would move. So impressive. Only it won't move because it's made out of rock, marble. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful representation of the Hellenistic period artwork.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the part that you can definitely see the influence of. There's suffering going on. Athena is attacking the giants. This right here is Athena, and she is not happy. So she's holding on to them by the hair. You've got
Athena
that
is not
little
happy, guys. You hear that?
curly hair that's represented.
Athena's
The looks on the
mad.
faces, almost in agony. So as you can see, that Hellenistic art, it's known for the expression of pain, anger, and other dark emotions, and it just shows up so prevalent. And if you remember from what I
Severe
said, that's
elevator
after Alexander the Great died. So it was in the art was oftentimes violent. So definitely a big transition.
Drainage system.
Which brings us to another transition, our objective review for today. Hopefully by now you can recognize artwork all of those different things represented. Discuss the
Gradual
characteristics
water
and divisions
release
of the
may
classical
occur
period.
without
We
war.
discussed painting of vases and murals during the high classical period. We looked at the Priam painter and the Achilles painter. Also recognize the trends and characteristics of Hellenistic sculpture and art. Yes, they showed life as it was, all the goods and the bads there in that Hellenistic art. All right, so the Nike of Samothrace. It's a beautiful piece of artwork that represents all of Greece and all that it can be, and even today exists to inspire us to run and be all we can be.
Oh, video's done. You know what that means. Gotta do a little more. So I'm just gonna pause here and do that then. That's a lot of words.
Geometric period. A phase of Greek art characterized by abstract geometric motifs and vase painting. linear motifs. Stylistic method that included spiral, diamonds, and cross-hatching patterns on decorative vases. Funerary vase. This type of art reflected the belief that the dead could continue to enjoy their favorite activities. Classical period. Referring to most of the 5th and part of the 4th centuries BCE.
Heavy fucker, aren't I?
Early Classical. Also referred to as severe style, this period in art showed changes in the reflection of the facial features, reflecting self-knowledge.
Notice, it has been 8 days since the last system launched. Estimated time until next cycle, 41 hours.
And I literally don't need to do anything about that, I guess. So if I have those, it's just another thing to go with that. Bitch. Come here. Peloponnesus.
Peloponnese.
Oh.
A Doric temple was constructed for Zeus by the people of Peloponnese.
Waste heap, huh? High Classical period.
High Classical period. During 450–400 BCE, with art reflecting figures of gods and goddesses of the Parthenon and mythologic heroes.
Fish milker. Why would you milk a fish? I'm curious about that. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Don't hurt me. Oh god. Oh. Oh. No! Oh my god. It let go. It purposely let me go too. No. And they're... Oh my god, nah, I'm doing this now. Pericles. Oh my god, that's not what I'm typing.
Pericles.
Dude,
An influential
Am I
statesman
tripping?
that dominated Athenian politics.
I don't care for politics. Politicians are just one more thing in the world.
Priam
that
painter.
seek power.
Some of Priam painter's works
With power,
include
there's
chariot
order,
scenes
but
and
dude,
depictions of
there's
Heracles
such
and
thing
other
as too
heroes such
fucking
as
much.
Heracles fighting
People are always
Alcyoneus.
going to be fighting for something.
Achilles painter. A vase painter whose style favored isolated figures against a background, usually in a...
Do I still have my upgrade? Yes, I do. Let's try this again.
Warning. Severe elevator malfunction detected. Avoid elevators until further notice. Emergency evacuation route
That
through
was so
drainage
dumb.
system has been
It
opened.
let me go on purpose. Where do I go? Here? So it's easy to get those to let go of me and to get them out of the fucking way. Is that? Look. Still place these and use them in a funny way. Money bug.
Alert. Report any sightings of the engraved door to your local Habitation Yellow supervisor. If you have periphery interaction experience, the local authority authorizes bloodletting.
Yeah, do some more of this. My goal is to have this done by today. At least this class. If I can at least do that, I'll be all set. It's not done. This thing, okay. Oh, looks like it is now. Copy these, paste it. Next. Actually, before we go next, I want to see like where am I? 82%. I have 6 tests to do and I'll be done. I kind of want to bring my lava lamps back in here. But me and my mom are going to be moving soon. But honestly, I don't know. I might not even use my redo. It's primarily just because stuff. Can I like throw these? Pretty
Caution. Maintenance catwalks in Sector G exhibit significant corrosion. Use extreme caution or safety.
Really? How did it get so close? Oh my. That's. Dude. I lost my upgrade. Every fucking time. Every fucking time. Why? And it's always there, too. It's nowhere different. Oh my god, why is it always there that I die? Because that time was... Oh my god. Come on, don't fuck me over, please. Pick it up! There is no need for this kind of dicketry. Dude, please. Oh my goodness. Oh my god! Oh, please, dude. My hand's about to give out. Please. Thank you. Oh my god. Just let it happen. Stop, like, throwing me places I never asked to be. Just like in the last video. Come on. Money bug.
Caution. Structural stress fractures identified in training chamber 5 scaffolding. Avoid upper platforms until repairs are completed.
Oh. What happened to you guys? Huh? Oh, out of curiosity, is it the more I die, the, like, creepier it gets? Because that's actually really cool. I would love that. No upgrades to be found here. Gotta copy all this and then move it. Copy, paste, submit. Next. Toss that. What's this? Eh. Okay. That technique doesn't work anymore. Dude. Dude! What are you doing?
Caution.
Oh
Possible
my
structural
god.
weakening detected in training chamber 66
Please,
support
thank you.
beams. Refrain from heavy equipment use.
Fuck that noise, dude. That's all that is noise. Nothing more to be said. Got the practice and then I've got the test. I have an idea on how to make this quicker. Hold on. Delete. New chat. Next, that's also broken. Why do I keep on getting like the broken variants for these? Oh goodness. The sculpture you're referring to is like no. Why am I that's what's going on. The GUI in a different tab is fucking with the one here. No, refresh this then. Yeah, next assignment. Thank you. Stop looking back that what I ran into? Because that better be the only answer. Yep.
Warning. Atmospheric containment breach in Sector 12.
Ah!
Hazardous
I'm mad at
conditions
that.
present.
Give me this table, dude. What's this about? I don't know what the mess I did. Get. Don't smack me up in the blades of that. Oh my goodness.
Deactivated. Power activated.
Money bug. Come here. Bitch! Fucker! Ah! Well, you ain't going anywhere else. What?
Warning. Atmospheric containment breach in Sector 12. Hazardous conditions present.
Motherfucker! I got your ass. Woo!
warnings detected.
Increases climbing speed by 30%. Reduces grip lock from most hazards. Has incoming damage. Increases the damage of your hammer. You can now hammer in pitons with a single swing. That would be nice, but I think it would like be better. It's just because it's the armor and I take less damage. It's probably like the best option.
Warning. Severe elevator malfunction.
Alright, I gotta do this test. It won't be long. Wait, no. That is not, dude, this is not what I'm asking for. Are we special today? Is this what we're doing? Are we a little special? Things are not copying and pasting where I need them to be? The answer was not B. You know, maybe I would have had a better answer if, you know, it wasn't buggy. There's Athena. I don't need a deep research. D. C. Can't do C, so we're going D again. C. Alright. Submit. That's done. Pretest. B. A. D. D. C. A. C. A. Let's try that. Oh, I nearly passed.
Detected. Avoid elevators until further notice. Emergency
Hi,
evacuation
welcome to
route
Art of
through
Jewish,
drainage
Early Christian,
system.
and Byzantine art. Now, today I want you to look at the image on the screen, and I want you to decide, would that be an image that was produced from Jewish art, Christian art,
This video
or
is
art from the
almost a half hour long.
Byzantine period? Keep that in mind as we go through these slides today. I want you to look at the color, the composition, and the content here, and make a decision. By the end. You will know exactly where this art comes from. Let's begin. All right, our objectives for today, we're going to discuss Jewish antiquities and symbols. We're going to recognize Christian art prior to Constantine, and we will
my
discuss
ass
the
that
three golden
good?
ages of Byzantine art. Let's begin. Our key terms for today will be menorah, citron, synagogue,
It tastes good at
of
least.
Milan,
Damn.
sarcophagus, pagans, Byzantine, mosaic, and vellum. Alright, let's begin with Jewish symbols. The picture in front of you is actually a picture taken from the synagogue floor. As you can see, it looks somewhat like cobblestones, but the images are painted on the stones. And if you look closely, you can see actually the menorah, which is this image right here. This menorah. Okay, and it's symbolized for the Jewish people, it symbolized the end of exile or paradise. And it was something they really honored. And if you've noticed ever during the holiday season, a lot Jewish people will put candles in the menorah, and it just reminds them of the end of exile and paradise. Okay, the second symbol we'll look at is a ram's horn. This is just kind of an illustration here of what it might look like. But if you look in the image in front of you on the screen, see if you can find that ram's horn. See it? Okay, over here we have a ram's horn, and that just symbolized ceremonial occasions. They would blow that ram's horn and make a loud noise, and that was important too. The last symbol is the citron. It's kind of like a fruit, and it celebrated the harvest, kind of prosperity. When the harvest came, they had lots of food, and it was celebration time. And I want you to look at the image and see if you can find the citron.
Microtears in segment B piping detected.
Right there.
Potential
Okay, and those are just a few Jewish symbols that we're going to look at today. All right, let's talk about Jewish antiquity. Now, on your screen on the left-hand side, you'll see the wall with Torah niche. During this time, a lot of people, when they were worshiping their God, they would have to go into first houses. Right here to the left, we see the wall with the Torah niche, and this area right here is actually this image right there. And what these walls depicted, this came from Jewish history. It kind of told the story. For the story, they would use that to educate the children, pass down their history, per se. And looking at the image on the right, the finding of baby Moses, just a little bit closer, you'll notice that the figures are static. That means they just stand still. There's not a lot of movement. They're two-dimensional style with frontal poses. They're all facing forward. You notice that. They have strong outlines and just kind of flat colors. So they are very outlined. You can see here that they are very outlined, kind of just standing still, very posed, not moving. And again, this is a very important story in the Jewish religion, finding of the baby Moses. And so they would want to educate their children and keep their history as it was very important. So let's go on to look at Christian art. Now, in 313 BCE, Constantine, the ruler of the time, issued the Edict of Milan, very important edict, granting all the people in the Roman Empire freedom to worship whatever god they wished. Up until this time, Christianity was somewhat persecuted, and they were not able to worship freely. But along comes Constantine, who says, you know what, you can worship whoever you want. So Christian art did take a change. But one thing we need to look at is before the edict. There were Christians, and they did worship their God, but they weren't allowed to. So how did they do that? One thing we can look at here on the left is sculptures during this time before the edict were more rare than paintings. And I want you to think about that, and I want you to wonder why. Why would they be more rare than paintings?
Again? Again?
Well, hopefully you're thinking that, well,
Dude!
they're more rare than the
Oh
paintings
my
because
God!
their worship.
Again!
They could just walk around having all of these items.
Can I
and
just
be okay
report
with it. So,
a bug?
one thing about the sculptures during this time before the edict, they were usually marble, and they usually depicted the shepherd. And the shepherd actually was a symbolic person representing Christ.
That didn't do shit!
The good shepherd at the time.
Fuck.
Another item before the edict that's really, I think
That
it's very compelling
sucks!
because if you look on the right, you'll see the
Oh,
sarcophagus of the
why?
Church of Santa Maria Antiqua.
Dude!
And a sarcophagus is actually just a coffin, but what we would
Again
say
in
is
this
a coffin.
turmoil!
Except
Why?
the sarcophagus, you can see that
Like,
pretty
dude!
heavy. We have the
How does the
rock.
hitbox chuck me
It's
so
rock,
far?
It's underneath, if you remember from previous chapters,
I could
a
cry.
flat sculpture that's
Dude.
carved into a surface.
Dude, don't fuck with me. Come
On this
on.
relief, if you look at it, it
Oh
does
my
contain images
God.
of symbolic Christian people who go, but the pagans of the time, they
That
didn't know
hurts.
that these images were
So fucking
symbolic of
much. I
Christianity.
get
They just thought it was
upgrades and then
a
it
thing
takes
from
it
the time.
away.
But if you were to look closer,
Ah.
you would notice this
I love
right
this
here,
game, but this
this
is
man.
that is
he's
stupid.
To Christians, that would
Dude!
symbolize Christ the teacher.
Don't do this.
To pagans, though,
Please.
it's like a
Oh
teacher,
my
it
God,
wouldn't be any
please
different.
don't.
Also,
Just don't
here
do that. That is
we have another
stupid
person who symbolizes
behavior.
Christ, and that's again the Good Shepherd. He's holding the lamb around his neck. And for Christians, again,
Please,
they would notice that as the Good
Oh
Shepherd.
my
For
God.
a pagan who does not
That
worship
hurts.
their
Like,
God, wouldn't know any different. They would just
emotionally
know
too
that
much.
there was
Oh
this man
my
with a lamb around his
goodness.
neck. And then on the very far side here,
And I have
the
to
image
suffer with the schoolwork,
actually
and
is
I at least need to
it's
get
really hard
that
for you
one
to see
class
possibly,
finished
but
today.
the young boy is actually getting baptized at a gentleman right here. And again, that would be a Christian image, but the pagans wouldn't understand it that way. They would think, oh, he's just going swimming. So I thought that was quite interesting how they could still do it, but it was just a little bit cryptic so that they wouldn't be persecuted quite so much. Alright, now let's look at Christian art after the edict. Notice again, the Good Shepherd. This is actually a mosaic on a wall. Covered, and during this time, mosaics started covering church walls. They were beautiful, beautiful images that depicted Christ, the stories from the Bible of the time, and they could publicly proclaim what they believed, and they did it. So notice the image in front of you. It does contain Christian symbols such as a cross. Right here, this Good Shepherd
Bruh.
is
I had
carrying a
that.
cross staff, and that is a Christian symbol representing Christ and sacrifice. So, and then the fact again that he's a good shepherd. The lambs are there, looking to their shepherd. Beautiful, beautiful mosaic. They also used bright colors, and they were not afraid to publicly say, "This is what I believe." So let's look at the golden ages of Byzantine art. Now, Byzantine art is known as the art of the Orthodox Church. It is Christian in nature, but it's just a different period of time. So it's the golden ages of Byzantine art, and it is broken down into 3 periods. Again, we have early, that went from 526 to 726 BCE. The middle, from 843 to 1204 and then we do have a late period in which the time period was 1261
Nobody
to
get in there
1452
now.
BCE.
You know
Some
what,
really
fuck
neat
that
things
was.
started happening during this time. Let's look at some of those things. Alright, early Byzantine. Now, this is actually
It at least makes
a
me
part
feel
of a book.
better.
It was taken from the Radula Gospels, an illustrated gospel book, and it was painted on vellum paper. Vellum is actually skin. It's a type of paper that maybe papyrus, very thick, very sturdy. Obviously, it had to be sturdy to last this long, and we get to enjoy it. So, very impressive. And the reason it says it's taken from the Radula Gospel is because the monk, Radula, is the one who painted these, signed his name to this picture, and that's why we call it Radula. Anyway, this presented the Christian story through multi-level symbolism. So early Byzantine, you had multi-level pictures that told stories. And if you look at it, you do have two levels. You have this level down here, and you have this level up here. And it does tell a story of Christ hanging on a cross there, and the two gentlemen on the other side. And the people are watching. Down below, there's activity going on, and so there's multi-levels in the art. And they were mostly inspired by church murals and mosaics. They, again, they're painted on sheets of vellum, and they're very colorful, very fun to look at. And it's just one of those things that you can just look at and notice something different every time you looked at it. And that was early Byzantine, telling the story, multi-level. Now, let's go to Middle Byzantine, a little bit different here. Now, art was visually powerful during this time.
We don't need that.
Let's look at the image known as the Virgin of Vladimir. And one thing I do want to point out that's quite interesting about early art is if you look at the face here of the child Christ, if you look at it closely, it almost looks like a miniature adult. And that was quite common during this time when the painters would paint the images of the young children. They would actually have like adult faces but smaller bodies. And that's just one of the conventions of the time, that's how they did it, so everybody did it that way. But anyhow, let's get back to the notes. The art, Middle Byzantine art, reflected the strongly spiritual focus of the wealthy leadership. A lot of wealthy leadership during this time, and because of that, it kind of changed how the artist depicted the images. Very wealthy looking. Notice the jewels here.
Structural integrity
here. That really probably wasn't the case that the Virgin of Vladimir would be wearing that type of hat. But because of the wealth of the time, like, it's not a realistic piece of clothing for that person, but they were the spiritual leaders of that time were very wealthy. I'm sorry, not the spiritual leaders. The leaders of that time were very wealthy, and so the art does reflect that. And these were known as painted icons of the religious figures, were thought to have miraculous powers. So this image right here, it was painted on wood. And some of them were just very tiny little images of different religious images, maybe an image of Christ, of one of the other figures in Christian history. They would paint them on small pieces of wood or tiny pieces. I've seen them actually where people carry them around. They are thought to have miraculous powers. Some families actually had their own spiritual icon that represented their family, and
pressure
it was
seal
supposed to be very
engaged.
important. So
Door latches
pretty interesting
holding.
there too.
No leaks detected.
All right, now we head on into late Byzantine. The picture you see on the left is known as the Old Testament Trinity, or the three angels visiting Abraham. And this picture represented the Trinity. Artists relied on mathematical conventions to create ideal figures during this time. In other words, they had a mathematical formula that said humans will be this tall, they will be this thin, and that's the way they're represented. And if you look at this picture, you will notice that this person has quite a long arm.
Regenerative pads.
They're very, very, very
Stamina,
thin,
50%
very
faster
long
than
necks. That's the artistic conventions of that time, saying, hey, this is the way we think the ideal figure of the time should be, and this is the way we're going to do it. If you do recall in an earlier lecture about Egyptian art, where they did the same thing, they had a convention. That means a normal rule that all the artists would follow, and the late Byzantine period wasn't any different. They had a mathematical
Severe
convention,
elevator
and that was the ideal
malfunction
figure.
detected.
They
Avoid
also
elevators.
invented an ideal geometry
Further
and depicted human forms. Again, that goes along with mathematical conventions. I do want to look at this. This picture right here, very common during this time. You have that triangle. In order for that to be a really nice painting, a lot of the artists of the time would say, oh, they used the convention. It's very balanced, the person in the middle, very geometric. Geometric meaning, full of shapes, triangles, circles, squares, And so that's the ideal geometry depicted of human forms and the composition of those forms. Very interesting, very balanced piece of artwork. All right, now I'm hoping you can answer that question I asked in the very beginning of the lesson. Today we have talked about Jewish antiquities and symbols. Hopefully you can recognize Christian art prior to Constantine. Remember, he's the one who said, okay, you can worship however you want. And then last, we discussed the 3 golden ages of Byzantine art, that beautiful art. And I'm going to give you another look at the image I showed you in the beginning. And, ta-da! Did you guess right?
Ta-da!
This picture is actually the Transfiguration of Christ with Saint Apollo, and I know I'm going to say this wrong, Apollinaire, first bishop of Ravenna. But it's actually a mosaic on a wall, and it is Christian from 549 BCE, which makes it early Byzantine. Remember I told you that early Byzantine does what? It tells a story. So if you look at this image, it is multi-leveled. It does have images here that tell a story, and then on up, it even has the heavens above. That is multi-level storytelling. Tell the story. Again, this image, you look at it one day, notice something, and you could go back and notice something completely different. So it's Christian. Oh, I didn't tell you why it's Christian. Hopefully you can see here in the middle, we do have a Christian symbol, the cross, right there. And from that, you can say Christian, early Byzantine. Hope you did well, and hope you enjoyed the art of Jewish, Christian, and the Byzantine art. Have a good day.
Munchies.
Alert. Since this forecasts for the next week include heavy rainfall.
Heavy rainfall, huh?
Case of system.
This one is not as long.
Menorah. A 9-branched candelabrum representing the Jewish faith.
Shelby. What do I got? Not anything good right now, anyway. Can't see. We're going up anyway. Come on. You got this. Let me in. Huh? Up we go. And maybe away from that stuff that keeps on getting to me. Okay, over here. I'm gonna take a breather. Citron, what is that?
Citron. A Jewish symbol celebrating the harvest.
Citron, okay. Oh, like citrus, okay. Citrus is
Synagogue.
a type of plant.
A Jewish house of prayer.
Edict of Milan. That sounds like something from
Edict of Milan. A letter issued by Constantine in 313 granting all people in the Roman Empire freedom to worship any god they wished.
Reminder, all personnel are to undergo strict decontamination after leaving the facility drainage network. Surface and facility runoff are dangerous.
Fuck off, dude. There's no goddamn way. There is no goddamn fucking way. They never fucked with me before! Why would they now? Oh, for fuck's sake! For fuck's sake!
Severe elevator malfunction
Dude,
detected.
this is
Avoid
so
elevators
unfair.
until further notice. Emergency evacuation.
Because whenever I'm fucking with them to begin with, they're like, oh, what's this? They don't explode, but then they do. Explain yourself! Dude, fuck off! Fucking birds, or whatever these things are. Flying bugs. Ants. We'll call them the flying ants. Fuck off me. Fucking bruh! Oh no shit. Shiny bug. Shiny bug. Put them in here. If you're gonna collect them, at least do it quick. Okay, so give me this. I have time! I can grab things! Shiny bug. Let me go, let me go, let me go. I'm getting a little red here.
Sarcophagus. A funeral receptacle for the body typically carved from stone.
Pagans.
Pagans. Generally referring to the religions of classical antiquity such as Greek mythology or Roman religions outside of Christianity.
Memory core deterioration accelerating. Data loss estimated at 84%.
Dude, why does it not grab what's inbound? I'm just gonna finish this as a punishment. Self-punishment, whatever. That is
Byzantine.
fucking stupid.
The Roman Empire during the Middle Ages.
You don't have to listen to that. That is just stupid. Like, why does it not grab things whenever... I need to listen.
Colored glass, stone, or other material.
I don't get why it doesn't grab things when I'm inbounds.
Vellum.
Oh, fuck off. I don't need to hear all that. I don't care about how it's different towards today. What does that say? Where does the Byzantine art remain popular today? I don't know. I don't care. I'm just saying, it's not important to me. That's just dumb, dude. Like, that hurts emotionally. I am going through, like, anguish right now. How do you play if it keeps on screwing you over like that? In at least a count of 3, 2 different times that's happened was from the hitbox of another item accidentally running into you and fucking you over. That is not okay. I would just be like I would be fine too until that happens. It's one of these guys. How about not helping you, huh? Bro, don't fuck me over with this. Dude! Don't fuck me over with this! Like, please? I swear I'm grabbing things. If I'm not, I must be special. To be getting mad right now at something that was inevitably never gonna fucking happen.
Routine
Oh.
diagnostic. Waste disposal system in dormitory wing is offline. Maintenance
She's
required.
cool, but dude, it's too much now. I've fallen so many times, she's repeated herself so much. There's your discussion. Good day. I'm gonna have to shower after this. I'm like getting hot. No, come here. I need info. Yes, hello. You're the one good thing that's happened to me. I'm gonna try not to kill the cute thing. Okay. Oh, hello. Floppy disk, awesome. I don't even know what I grabbed onto then, but... Double stamina. Climbing speed.
Authority Directive 983. Training initiatives
We're
in
going
the
through
deep
the same
substructure have
process, alright?
ceased.
So we can move again without much of an issue. You know what, maybe I won't even need that. If I play this smart. You know what? Okay, shiny bug. Take you. Where do I go? Oh, some more. It's pretty much the initiative. It's always gonna be fun. Alright, up a little more. Should be doing more of the schoolwork right now. Oh, and this is just the practice, so if I can get this done quickly, then that'll be it. me. Zooming out does not do much for me. Okay, let's put the shiny bug in here. Hello, hello guy. Here we are. Is it this place with all the spikes? Because I don't mind being here right now since I have what I've got. It's just me being worried about the smash accident. Please let me up. Thank you.
Attention. Facility power levels critical. Main reactor failure detected. Auxiliary systems running at 85%.
I got this. I'm almost out of the fog. Just gotta finish going up. I think when I get up there, I'm gonna do a little more schoolwork for a minute. It's the interlude. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let me up. Oh, close this bitch. At least that gives you a break.
Pressure seal engaged. Door latches holding. No leaks detected.
At least that gives you a break. Wow. No, 3 more practice questions, and then I can continue. But since I'm already here in this one, I can see the upgrades. Oh, I had a... Awesome. So there's a 1. And then so we have 2 lives now. I feel better about that. I feel a little better about that. Where are the upgrades? Error. Can't read that. Increases the time bust from items. Improves walking, running speed by 25%. Improves climbing speed by 10%. Long jump after jumping while crouching. I'm getting that. Ow! That's awesome. Get poked in the arm like that. Another shiny bug buddy. I have one more after this, and then I'm all good. It's a little bit slow, able to save. Well, pause the game anyway. I'm at least grateful they allowed that, was pausing.
Warning. Severe elevator malfunction detected. Avoid elevators until further notice. Emergency evacuation route through drainage
Everything
system
was
has been
approved.
opened.
That's good. This would be nice to play on Xbox, though. I'm just saying, it would be awesome to play this on. Oh, I forgot to pause it. Ow! So this might be a long video depending on when my friend gets on. He usually gets on by 5, and right now it's 12. Yeah, I don't know what the free plan limit is for this, but whatever. Alright, next quiz. We got this, guys, don't worry. I haven't eaten anything in a little bit. That's okay, though. It was A, my bad. I'm over here doing more than I needed. D. One more question and we're done, guys, don't worry. Alright, we're done. And then we can start the next pretest, my bad. I don't even take the time to like try to pass the pretest because I feel like it's faster and more promising that I'll, you know, get this done quicker if I just purposely get most of these wrong, but the deal behind that is, you know.
Hi, welcome to Islamic Arts.
Reminder.
Now, I would like you to look at the images on the screen in front of you and do a little comparing and contrasting. Compare these pieces of art, perhaps in terms of composition, how they're put together, content, what's in them. Compare them. Do you see any similarities at all? And then contrast them. What's different? Boy, I can see a lot of differences here. We see the Greek art, Egyptian art, and Islamic art here. And as you look at those, I want you to kind of think if you can find anything similar or different. Have a little idea? Maybe you have no idea whatsoever. Well, after today's lecture, you'll know. Okay,
so we know
today
that
we
there
are
can
going
be
to list
accidents
reasons
that
why
occur
Islamic
every now
art
again, but we
and
have to be ready
architecture
for
are so diverse from the other types of artwork during this time. We're going to define the architectural elements of the mosque, specifically the great mosques. We're going to describe and recognize calligraphy on artwork and written work. And last, describe the different types of Islamic portable arts. Key terms for today are aniconism, arabesque, mosque, frise, facade, calligraphy, Sufic, and Quran. Now, back to the question I posed at the very beginning of this lesson. Okay, anything similar? Well, we can look at the first two items and notice that both of these pictures used images of people and animals honoring their gods and goddesses. The first right here, you may remember from an earlier lecture, the Nike of Samothrace, the goddess of victory. And then we do see Anubis, Amat, and Osiris here. Those are the gods of Egypt. So they, in their artwork, that's primarily what they put in there, those images of animals and images honoring their gods.
Depictions of animals and people are often missing from Islamic art because many artists practice aniconism. Aniconism is the act of avoiding figural imagery or images of living creatures. The Quran, the Islamic holy book, teaches that the creation of living forms is unique to Allah, and some Islamic scholars and followers of Islam interpret this to mean that the depiction of human and animal forms in art is prohibited, especially in religious contexts.
All right, speaking of the mosque, this is actually a frise, the detailed facade of the Palace of Mashata. Now, this part of the facade actually does not touch the mosque, and how we know that for sure is that we do see here a few figures. I know I just said that they don't have animals or people in their artwork. They don't honor them as such. Well, especially in mosques, they would not even begin to have that there. But this is actually on a palace, and it's not a prominent figure. It's just a very small animal. Looks like maybe an elk or a moose or something like that, maybe a lion. So that's why we do see a little bit of animals there. Now, some details that we can see on this facade is that they use complex geometric designs. Very, very typical of Islamic art, geometric designs that just are beautiful. You can look at it for hours and just notice the amazing craftsmanship and details that they put into it. Also, you'll notice there are scrolling vines. Those are known as arabesques. Now, the scrolling vine design, let's see if I can find one right here, kind of scrolls around. You'll probably recognize it. Even today, in interior design, arabesques are used everywhere. In fact, I would be willing to say that you could probably walk into your house or a restaurant and find an arabesque design very easily. Now, the facade revels in surface decoration, and Islamic art, the surface is so decorated. Every single teeny tiny minute piece is just very, very ornamental. Now, as I said earlier, they have amazing use of geometric design. In that, it's amazing use of line, color, and pattern. And we don't see too much color here. At one time, I'm sure it was very vibrant, very, very vibrant colors. But we do see the pattern, we do see the lines. Beautiful, beautiful art. All right, let's
You
look
are
at
en route
the
to
Great
Habitation
Mosque.
Yellow.
This is the Mosque of Isfahan.
Please enjoy
Now,
your
this facade, the facade is like
That
a,
hurts.
I want to say like a
elevator
thick
security
covering on
locks
the
are
outside
still
of the
in
mosque.
place.
It's not a part of the
Manual
mosque.
override
Well,
will
it
be
is part of the mosque, but it's a
required.
facade that's been placed over the outer edge there. It was made of brilliant blue glazed tiles that wrap around the entire courtyard. So it's just really, really nice. Now, I want you to look at this mosque and see if you can find arabesques on this great mosque, the design for arabesque. Do you see this right here? Okay, you've got that arabesque design, that scrolling vine look up there. Beautiful, nice, bright colors. Now, one other thing, since Islamic art did not employ the use of figural imagery, pictures of people or animals very prevalently, they used words to evoke emotion. So their actual language was written in calligraphy and placed on the building. And I want you to just kind of look and see if you can decipher that. Okay? So you're looking at the mosque. See if you can find where that calligraphy resides.
Elevator security locks have
Hopefully
been released.
you saw some of this right here. That's actually written in calligraphy in their language, and I do not know what it says, but I'm sure that it's something very inspirational on the mosque, something about God. They use their words to evoke that emotion instead of the images of people.
All right. We can leave.
If you look at the second picture on the slide there, you'll notice there's also some calligraphy here and some more arabesque design over there. All right, the mosque. Okay, a little bit more about the Great Mosque.
Warning.
This is actually the Madrasa Mausoleum.
Class 7
in
fluid
Mosque.
has been
Now,
detected.
it was known as a charitable
For the
complex.
safety of Habitation Yellow,
And it displays
airlock seal
piety.
mechanisms
People who were
must be
very, very poor
engaged.
would go there to
Please contact your
shelter
local
possibly.
control room specialist.
And it did say, it spoke of personal wealth and status of
Control
that
specialist
area
is
during that
missing.
time. It said, you know what, we know how to
Contacting
take care of our
administrator.
people, and we have this beautiful
Warning.
mosque to prove it.
Administrator
now, if you
is
look at the arches,
missing.
which are a
Contacting
typical,
emergency worker
architectural
protection.
design in a mosque. You will see that everywhere.
Error.
They have those arches
No
that are
crews
just
detected.
beautifully made.
Engage
They
manual
are made of
override.
interlocking pieces of marble. And I don't know if you know a lot about marble, but it's a very, very hard stone. And these pieces, actually, if you could see them very closely, they're not just like straight pieces fitting together. They're actually like little puzzle pieces that are carved and they're interlocked with each other. And those interlocking marble arches are very typical in architectural design in the mosque. So it's very beautiful. The walls in the mosque also are decorated with colorful marble paneling. That's another typical architectural piece of design in those mosques. Now, money was no object for this mosque right here because there was a plague that just killed so many people during the time this mosque was built, and the estates from those people who passed on the money or anything that was left of theirs was sold, and they used that money to build this complex.
Oh.
So money was no object whatsoever.
And we can't get out.
All right, another
feel
mosque
safe.
we're going to look at is the prayer hall of Cordoba. Umayyad dynasty. Okay,
It's getting dark.
it's centered in Cordoba.
Hey, I got this
City,
guy still.
and because
How's it
of
going,
that,
man?
They were influenced by the arts that was in
Yeah, we're
Spain.
getting out.
And if you look at this prayer
getting
hall
really
of
red.
Cordoba,
Where?
you can see
It's just the ends
that
of
they
the
have
canyon.
double flying arches
Markiplier.
right there. Very typical of the mosques, the architectural element, very typical. They use those double flying arches. And the
don't have
columns
any.
actually in this mosque were recycled from
beauty.
some other sites in
Deep
the area. So
substructural
they obviously didn't have the
Later,
means
bitch.
Phenomenal.
of people
I prefer to be
who
out
passed
here.
on to fund this mosque. So they did use some recycled pieces from other sites, such as those columns. Now, the Umayyad dynasty was known as being patrons of the arts. So they honored the arts, they celebrated the arts. And one thing I do want to call your attention to when you look at this mosque and the prayer hall here, if you look at these arches, this right here, it's not paint. the red and white is not painted on those arches. It's actually made of white stone and red brick.
Hello.
Again, just puzzle pieced together in that great mosque. Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit here and talk about calligraphy.
So I have a light now.
Now, many cultures, even today,
Yes, hello.
celebrate the art of calligraphy. You know, in America, we just, have handwriting. Sometimes they don't even focus on it very much in the early years. But calligraphy was, in Islamic art, very honored, as it was like in China, in Japan. Calligraphy was an art that was meant to be celebrated and honored. And we see this in this page from the Quran. It was written on parchment or vellum paper. And the person who created this, the person who used the calligraphy to create it, was actually probably a very, very high honored individual in their society at the time. And if you look at the actual calligraphy, you can see that it's beautiful,
So
even
we
though we
have
don't know what it
power.
says. It just has really nice lines and the movement involved. It's just really kind of pretty to look at. Now, not only did they use their, as I said earlier, they used their calligraphy.
Looks like there's
on
power now,
buildings,
bitch.
construction,
Oh,
And they also used it.
I didn't even see that there. Wow.
Okay, this is actually
Hello.
a gold thick border.
I didn't
And
get any shiny bugs,
this
but I
inscription
still
says
got
something
50.
about life being bitter without knowledge, or
Oh, is this a
something to that
toothpaste one?
effect.
Awesome.
And it's really kind of cool because they're sitting down to eat
future
and
of
you're
science.
reading on your bowl about the importance of wisdom, and it's just kind of
Oh,
cool.
it's
I thought
very
about it myself. I thought, I want to make some tableware with a cool quote on it that I like. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I think it's pretty neat. All right, on to Islamic portable art.
students, what else
Now,
can we get now?
Islamic portable arts were highly sought items because they were
Increases
considered a
stamina
luxury,
regeneration by
and it brought
25%.
status to their
Increases
patrons,
climbing
both
speed
from
by
Islam
30%, and
Europe,
roaches
because people
love
said,
you.
Ooh, you have one of those. Ooh, I want one of those. Where'd you get that?
My
So it brought status to have these portable arts
All right.
in your home. They most
feel good,
This
I
is
feel good.
actually on the screen. You see the banner of Las Navas de Tolosa. It kind of looks like a rug, but it's actually a banner.
It's
It was
dark in
composed of silk and gold, and there were calligraphic
Let me use
panels.
the
Now, if
bathroom
you can
quick.
look
I'll
at
be back,
it,
everyone.
kind of see if you can find that calligraphy, the written language that's giving a message here, and it would be right here and right here. Okay, this banner actually became a trophy taken by the Christian King Ferdinand III. He hung it proudly in his palace, and as well he should. It's a beautiful piece of art. Another Islamic portable art is this pen box. It's actually inlaid with brass, and it belonged to Kharusan in the 13th century. He was a calligrapher, artist type, and this was his pen box. And how neat is that he honored his pen with a beautiful, beautiful piece of art. It's like, we put our stuff into a backpack that's falling apart. We don't even know where our pencils are, and he held his in a pen box. That was a beautiful piece of art. Now, if you look
Alright,
at it closely,
I'm
you can
back.
see some elements of Islamic art. You can see the scrolls.
And we
Definite
still have that
scrolls
slug
lacing
thing.
in and out, very circular pattern, very
Alright.
geometric.
Oh, I forgot that this was the...
And there's figures, yes, on this
Comes up
small
in
piece of
wood.
artwork. There are figures. You can see some animals, you can see people. And that's because this artwork that was portable, it was
Hello.
not something that was attached to a mosque. It was not something that was at all to be
Trust us.
misconstrued for a religious piece. It was just a box that held his pens. So again, we see those scrolls, interlocking designs, figures enliven its calligraphic inscriptions. So again, it's very beautiful, very geometric, and there was a shortage during this time of silver, so they started using brass inlays so they could still work with the metals. All right, which brings us now to our objective review for today. We listed reasons why Islamic art and architecture are so very diverse, with their avoidance of figural images as much as possible. We defined some architectural elements of the mosques, specifically the great mosques. Those arches just are so amazing with their interlocking pieces. They're just beautiful. We described and recognized the calligraphy on artwork and written work, and even the buildings of the time. And last, we described different types of Islamic portable arts with the rugs and the pin box. So, truly, the artwork of Islam is different. The Islamic artwork is a beautiful expression of color and shape and design. And even though we do not see figures very much, the emotions that it evokes are just
What are you all holding down there? Oh, I also have the flare gun. And the hammer.
Fluctuations expected. Dress accordingly.
Habitation! I haven't been this far. This is like the first time I've been this far.
Containment failure imminent. Structural integrity.
Wow.
50%.
Good. Here we got shiny bugs. Everything. Do I not get an upgrade slot? Oh wait, no, I can deposit the shiny bugs, my bad. There we go. Is there not an upgrade thing? Love that right now. I'm just saying I would love it. Markiplier was climbing these for an unknown reason, actually. I can understand if he was curious, I suppose it's different, but I don't really know. also know it's bad apparently. God. I'm not afraid of heights, but dude, I'm afraid of falling, not gliding. If I can glide, then I'm fine. I really do. How do I... Ooh. Risky jumps, but we're good. We got this. Don't know if being heavy can kill us, because if we fall, that's kind of just it, is it? Oh, okay. This is really tall. See, I'm getting an adrenaline rush because I just fell. Oh, mama! Ooh, okay. I'm all good. I can climb this at least. Ah! Delta Labs. What's up there, though? I'm kind of curious. I'm a little curious, okay? Oh, you can't interact with this thing, huh? Watch this somewhere. So the hammer doesn't. Welcome to the labs! Is there... Oh, there's plant life up here! Awesome, I'm not gonna break it because it's pretty. It's a working computer that I'm gonna not break. This looks like doors. There's some shiny bugs. Haha. Come here. Munchies. So, no upgrade areas?
Anachronism. Avoidance of figural imagery. Arabesques.
Oh,
An elaborate method of repeating geometric forms reflecting plants and animals. Frieze. A wide, central section of a piece of architecture.
Facade.
Facade. One side of the exterior of a building. Calligraphy. Visible expression of the spiritual world, providing a link between the languages of the Muslims and the Islamic religion. Kufic. The oldest calligraphic form of the various Arabic scripts.
Alright. I got another... Oh, this is Islamic art now. Okay. So I got another assignment done. Let's check our progress. We are 86% done. I can get this done in one day, I promise. Well, I'm not seeing an... Oh. So there could be a upgrade thing here. but I wish I knew where.
Reminder, the future of humanity is in your hands. The products you produce through the Research and Habitation Yellow are required.
Oh, that's a big job. So we don't get an upgrade slot is what I'm seeing right now. The computer. Oh yeah, well, never mind. Oh. Hey! There's another one! Awesome! I got two. We're saving the cuties, guys, don't worry. I don't think I will be needing the hammer again, but I also don't think I will be needing that brick.
Emergency. Deep substructure containment failure imminent. Structural integrity 25%.
Okay, so something's coming is what I'm understanding.
Emergency. Periphery catalyst reactor is offline. No personnel detected in reactor control room.
Hello. Upgrade slots? Oh. Am I losing oxygen right now? Just like Half-Life! Oh. Oh, God! Ow! Just like Half-Life? No, the only difference is it's already dead. Okay. So I need to get over there. Bye, bitch!
Unauthorized access detected in biohazard containment lab. Security lockdown initiated.
Chill out with that. Ow! God! Huh?
Emergency. Delta 3 has not been located through internal sensors.
Am I okay? Am I gonna die? Did it again. At least I'm in the vent. Why is that a thing?
Emergency. Delta 3 has been located on internal sensors.
Is there an upgrade that I can get? I would love an upgrade right now, dude. Just saying. They're watching. No, stop watching. In fact. Oh, fire. Oh, shiny bug? Nah, you ain't getting away from me, silly. I don't really need the food, do I? Here, I'm gonna do a little more schoolwork. Okay. Paste that. Submit. And then we can move on. Copy these, paste that. Oh, wait, no. Don't paste that. That is not what I'm submitting. That's a bad idea. So there's a link there. That looks like it's gotten worse.
Emergency. Delta 3 has been located on exterior wall sensors. Emergency. Delta 45 has broken.
Ow!
The periphery artifact may attempt to deceive you. Do not trust anything you hear.
Don't trust anything anyway.
Emergency. Unidentified individual. You are required to reroute to Delta 45's research chamber in Sector 13.
Fuck off! So what did I just do?
Alert. You are not obeying a direct command from the Superstructure Authority.
Don't
For
need
your
to.
safety, Delta 45's research chamber in
Oh.
Sector 13.
It's a lot like Portal. Oh, that sounds bad. That looks bad.
By order of the Board of Directors, the emergency evacuation route to the surface has been moved to Delta 45's research chamber in Sector 13.
Okay, so hands have to be handy.
Warning. You are missing a birthday party just for you in Delta 45's research chamber in Sector 13.
Ow! Hey! Get off! Ah! Well, I had that. Where do I end up? Oh, I am all the way back here. Well. Oh, I lost the cuties. That's not good.
Warning. Severe elevator malfunction
the
detected.
upgrades.
Avoid elevated stairs until further notice. Emergency
Know what we're doing.
evacuation route through drainage system has been opened.
I said you fuck off. You get off me, and I say you fucking die. How's that? Alright. We lost a lot of progress, but at least it's better than dying. I also lost that flash. Bitch ass. The hammer is my only friend.
Notice. Zones 1 through 42 are empty.
Oh, I don't think I've been here yet. Or at least came from that. Whoop. Up we go. Alright. Made a lot of progress though. Alright, here, I'll be back. I gotta take my dog to use the bathroom. One moment.
Notice, subzone 534 is... You are en route to Habitation Yellow. Please enjoy your alert. Elevator security locks are still in place. Manual override will be required. Alert. Elevator security locks have been released. Warning. Class 7 fluid has been detected. For the safety of Habitation Yellow, airlock seal mechanisms must be engaged. Please contact your local control room specialist. Warning. Control specialist is missing. Contacting administrator. Warning. Administrator is missing. Contacting emergency worker protection crews. Error. No crews detected. Engage manual override. Alert. Airlock seal is priming. You have 30 seconds to return to the emergency personnel lift. Have a good day.
just now realizing my mic was off still. I didn't see a floppy disk save zone though. So when I died, you know, I don't know. Oh, we're back here again.
Alert. Deep substructure emergency lock hatch holding. Pressure nominal.
Oh. I've already been here. Still want to check and see. I'm just curious. I know I don't have to be here, but I'm going to be here anyway. Plus I did, I guess. Let's see.
Warning. Repeated curfew violations have been recorded at Residential Complex B. Additional surveillance has been authorized in this sector.
And I don't have any discs? Dude. That sucks.
Alert. Deep substructure emergency lockdown hatch experiencing increased strain. Reinforcement systems activating. All external windows in the habitation block are to remain sealed at all times. Tampering is punishable per Authority Code 4492. Brake mechanism integrity compromised. Evacuate to lift. Emergency. Seismic event detected in service shaft C. Lift access is offline.
Welcome back here again.
Emergency. Deep substructure containment failure imminent. Structural integrity 50%.
I just gotta go up. Gotta do. The unfortunate part is I didn't find any like upgrade areas here, so I don't think I'm gonna do it again.
Substructure weather report. Precipitation expected. Heavy cloud cover moving in from substructure 12 experimental climate reactor. Workers are required to keep working.
Well, that hurt a lot. That's what it is. For your safety and that of the community, disperse immediately. This is the hard part. Can you imagine? It's like Kung Fu Panda climbing the stairs. He's like, ah, hi, almost there. What? Ah, no! You can still.
Reminder, the future of humanity is in your hands. The products you produce
Is it?
through the research and habitation yellow are required.
Hey! Hello again! Cutie! Hi! Take you with me, how's that? You're my emotional support. No, literally, you're my emotional support. I need you. like the one good thing that's happened so far. This is a really fun game though. I love it. It's just how hard it is whenever you like start failing towards the start. Where do I put these? I guess I don't want to put them here, so.
Alert. Artifact breaches in lab sectors 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 13, 14, 17, 20, 24, 25, 32. Termination teams not found.
What's the point in it being to come over here if there's nothing? I'm just saying. I don't mind exploring. Hello. He got it. I'm disappointed that there's no like upgrade thing.
Emergency. Deep substructure containment failure imminent. Structural integrity 25%.
Don't let go, huh? You know. Okay. That's abusive. That is heavily abusive. I was expecting to be capable of killing it, but I guess that wasn't enough. And as punishment, I'm probably just gonna do a little more schoolwork. Because it needs to get done at some point. God, I love this game. I just don't want to die, please.
Warning.
I just wish I had another upgrade, dude.
Avoid elevated turrets until further notice.
Alright, so this is just primarily
Evacuation
pushing
route
guns.
through drainage system has been opened. reminder. Personal flotation devices are mandatory in open water channels. Sudden surges can occur at any time.
He fights back. I want to see all the updates, though, you know? Back up here, it's pretty much the same spot, but it's not different. Ooh, Mazda things. Oh boy. Oh. I need to pick you up, sorry. That's fine. So by the falling mass, I take it that's like how much damage you take when falling. That hurts so much! I didn't lose shit. Shut up. Alright, back at the interlude. So we gotta do this again. For the third time. In one session, okay. That's fine though. Get rid of the shiny bug. And then press on. I would love to be moving right now.
You are en route to Habitation Yellow. Please enjoy your alert. Elevator security locks are still in place. Manual override will be required.
I am gonna stop playing this at some point, so that way I can go to, so I can clean up a little bit before I have family coming over. And then I'm also gonna be hopping on with a friend today. So, we'll see. I don't know where Matt is, but he's getting on at some point. He's not there. Oh, I'm fucked over now. Okay. Well, I can't call the elevator back. think this is game for me. Unless by some miracle I can get back there. Which is not likely to happen, but we're gonna give it a shot. If I can give myself like enough of a boost to grab that. Oh, damn it all. It says escape, but there's not one, dude. This goes on forever. And again, I know I'm grabbing stuff, stop lying. I'm holding the mouse button, and that has been working perfectly fine for me. I'm holding the mouse button. That's been working perfectly fine for me. Stop. Well, knowing what I know now, I can kind of just speedrun this. I just have to be careful because I don't have what I used to have. Alright. Back here. We got this. We know what we're doing now.
Alert. Temperature fluctuations detected in air exchange systems. Expect intermittent drops in ambient heat levels.
Getting a little bit fucked up here, but that's okay. First upgrade. What do we get? Pistons are now secured upon placement. Rebar, absolutely not. Increases the damage of your hammer. You can now hammer it, which will last for 10 minutes. So that's always going to be useful for me now. Oh, yep. Oh, it even gave me a bunch. That's awesome. So I continue here. This feels different for some reason. I don't know why. I really don't know. So I really don't have a need for the hammer now. I can just break, like put that.
Warning. Elevated particulate matter detected in lower air exchange ducts. Respiratory protection advised.
Might not be as good as I anticipated it to be, so I'm fucking out that. Also itchy. Don't you hate that? Does anyone ever get itchy when they're playing and then they're like, it's distracting? And it just like fucks you up altogether, so then it's like, ah. And then there's the times whenever you can't fucking get it because you're too busy with something else. I didn't say. What? Huh? Okay, I don't know what that is. My mom messaged me. And it's just a picture. You can grab stuff. You're not disabled. Like, I'm not saying this to be mean, just generally, you are not that broken for a pair of floating hands.
Alert. Sensors indicate water seepage in Silo 7. Moisture levels may compromise stored materials.
Alright. I mean, we've made a lot of progress. It's just that one area that's annoying. So once you get over there, there's the distance. They start fucking with you a lot. Oh, secrets. There's nothing in here. Yo.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Schoolwork and playing some games. I'm almost done with this one class.
Well, hopefully you pass it if you had a substitute and she couldn't check anything. She went to school today.
What?
I said, hopefully you pass it since you had a sub the other day and she couldn't check anything. So if you submit everything now and then you don't get a good grade.
That's not how it works. It shows you the grade. If you complete the class, you at least have a good grade. If you don't complete the class
Anyways,
before
have you
the due
taken
date,
Teddy out to go to the bathroom?
yeah, and
Okay.
is that why you called?
Yep.
Okay.
That was it.
Well, since
Did he
we're
go?
on
Did
the
he poop?
he went pee and poop.
Okay.
All right.
Check
Anyway,
and stay on top of it. You got 1 week to finish 2 classes, so
I know.
or you don't graduate.
How that works though, like if you
You have 2 classes to pass or you don't graduate. That's all I know. I don't need to know anything else. Do what you need to do.
okay, well,
Alright, love you, bye.
never mind then. Love you, bye. She just doesn't fucking listen. Like I don't know how to explain it. She's just not willing to listen. So any fucking time I try to explain something, she's not gonna sit down and listen because her excuse is all it is bullshit. Some of it does make sense, But this, since she didn't even want to listen to it, it gives her an excuse to bitch at me about it later, so watch. If it's on video or not, you'll see. You'll see. What do I do here? I got...
Warning. Loose debris reported in training chamber corridors. Navigational hazards likely.
First up here, let's see what we got. Ooh.
Alert. Silo elevator 9 malfunction reported. Use caution when entering or exiting the lift.
Alright, so I'm back up here. This is what I mean though, you get stuck down here and then you can't fucking do anything. Love the game, hate the that it gives you, like it forcefully. You made progress before, nope. You're not getting it back. Not for a long ass time. I'm not mad about that, but it's annoying. Honestly, it's making my head hurt wrapping my head around why that was a thing. I've been on it for several hours, but I'm gonna probably take a break here in a bit anyway. fucking explodes. Why?
Humidity levels in hydroponics bay remain at 88%. Crop yield is no longer expected.
Shiny bugs! Shiny bugs! Shiny bugs! Shiny bugs! Oh, is that an explosive thingy? That's cool. Warning. Atmospheric containment breach in Sector 12. Hazardous conditions present. Pressure power deactivated. Oh. I have infinite grip pretty much now. Again, dude. Really? Stop doing that. Bro. The excuse that this has is unbelievable. Oh, I just thought, no. No, you did it on purpose.
Power activated.
even hit it yet, dude. Ah. Well, I'm gonna leave this episode here until I get any further with this. Probably more likely back to where I was. So anyway, highly recommend you play this. It's like $12 on Steam. Markiplier is also playing it, so y'all can go watch him. And I will see you on the next video. Later.